Hey guys, Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you another A to Z build challenge video. So if you guys have never heard of this challenge before, it is a challenge I came up with a couple of years ago. And basically each week you get a new letter and you can do a build or a cast creation on that letter. So it used to be called the build challenge, the A to Z build challenge, but now it's just the A to Z challenge. So yeah, if you are somebody who wants to do casts instead of building, you absolutely can. But yeah, essentially you just get a new letter every single week from July to December. I don't know why I forget the months. It's the same time every year. But yeah, from July to December you guys can pick whatever you want, like whatever letters you want, build whatever you want, cast whatever you want. It's really up to you guys how you do it. So yeah, if you're interested in doing something like that, definitely make sure to kind of stick around and check that out. It is something that I do kind of run on Instagram, but I think I'm also going to put it in the community tab here, so that if you guys don't have Instagram, don't want to participate on Instagram, anything like that, you guys can absolutely still check out like all of the hashtags and whatnot within the challenge in YouTube. So yeah, if you don't have Instagram or don't want to check over on Instagram, that's absolutely okay as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a really good fun challenge. I love the freedom that the challenge affords people. Like if you want to build a huge build, you can, but if you want to do small builds, room builds, anything like that, you absolutely can. If you want to do a lot of casts, a little bit of casts, one outfit, two outfits, it really isn't a big deal what you do. It's really up to you what you guys want, and that's what I love about the challenge, is it's just something that's so different. Like I said, it's something that if you want to do this or that or the other, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. The only rule I do have, I mean technically there's two, one's a rule, one's a guide, but the hard and fast rule I do have is absolutely no CC. I know I'm using CC, but I break rules and challenges. I'm not very good at listening, apparently. Also, this is the one time I really do get to use CC, because I'm also doing another build series at the moment called the Pokemon build series, and that one has absolutely no CC, and that one is going to go for years. So yeah, I'm very much not going to be using CC for that one, so this is where I get to use it instead. So yeah, that's pretty much the only reason why there's CC here at all. So yeah, if you're wanting to get involved, wanting to build or cast, create, and are interested, definitely feel free in, getting started earlier and building earlier and whatnot, or casting earlier. I still don't know the terminology for casts. I really don't, and I apologize if you are somebody who's like super duper into casts. I have no idea what the terms are. Not a clue in the world. But yeah, basically, I do start it in July, but I know that a lot of people are busy in certain months of the year, and it can be different for each person for each month. So if you want to get started early, you absolutely can. It just means you'll have to come back and find the hashtags for the relevant week. And once you know one hashtag, you'll know them all, because the only thing that gets changed within the hashtag is the letter of the week. So yeah, once I figure out what the hashtag is, you guys can absolutely, I mean, like I said, you could get building now and, or cast creating now, and if you wanted to come back and put like the correct hashtags in later, you absolutely could. I mean, you don't even have to answer them if you don't want to. If you feel like you just want to challenge yourself and have fun with it, you also can do that. That's absolutely fine. Because the whole point of this challenge really is to have fun. It's not about beating anyone or winning, and I don't really have prizes or anything like that, but the point of it is, I don't think I've built, I mean, I've built restaurant type builds before, but I don't think I've ever built a restaurant like this before, and that's the point of the challenge, is just having fun with it, doing something weird and wacky and different, and having fun. I said that twice. Yeah, it really is all about having fun, honestly. So yeah, if you are someone who likes a good little challenge and needs something new and different, absolutely feel free in getting involved in this challenge. Oh, I didn't give you the other rule, which is, again, more of a guideline. It's that simply you do not have to participate in every week. That's it. If you just want to do 1 week and not others, you absolutely can do that. It's, I guess, 26 mini challenges instead of 26 challenges. Just because I don't think people need to be stressed out. There's enough stress in the world as there is, and I fully recognize that. So instead of contributing to it, I am, like if you don't want to do it, don't. And there is no issues or problems if you don't. So, yeah, long story short, if you want to get involved, have fun with it. Build and cast, create to your heart's content. Have fun and build and cast things that maybe you've never done before, some things that you're really, really good at and that you love doing. Whatever it is, that's the point of the challenge, is basically just getting outside your comfort zone and getting creative and having fun with it. So, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, this is my build for R. So I do these builds in 26 days in February. The reason why I started doing it in February in 26 days instead of over 26 weeks like a normal human being is that during uni, that was probably the best time for me to do a little challenge, and I wanted to kind of get outside my comfort zone, because when I first started making builds, I did a video a week, and then I think it may have been a year and a half later, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try doing 2 a week. And for a very long time, that was working for me, and it was really good and really comfortable and whatnot. And then I got to this year, and I mean, it was last year I decided this, but yeah, I got to this year and decided, you know what, I'm going to do a video every single day. Every single day, except for the last 2 days of February. Because this challenge only goes for 26 days. I don't do the last few days of February. If it's a leap year, I get 3 days off. If it's not, I get 2 days off, but that is still a lot. I know 2 days might not seem a lot, but in those 2 days I could absolutely get half a week's content done if I really put my mind to it. So yeah, look, it's definitely something I am looking forward to, having that little break and not having to speed and mass produce videos on the daily, because at the moment, yeah, I am building a lot and just editing and voicing a lot. It's just like one thing to another, and yeah, there's not much of a break moment going on. But I'm still having fun with this challenge. Don't get me wrong, like, I absolutely love this challenge. I am definitely very inspired by it. I am building things that maybe I've never built before or attempting before. I know that the build that I'm going to be working on for tomorrow is something that I've never tried this style. I've tried this type of build before, but I've never tried this style of build. So yeah, it's definitely something new, something exciting, and I'm very, very keen for it. I was going to start it yesterday, but some stuff happened and I kind of felt a bit off, and also, yeah, just having a very loose look at the build, I kind of have a good idea of what I want to do, so I'm not too worried about the fact that I haven't started that one early. I'm just worried about getting it done, because I know it's going to be in a big lot, but I think I can make it feel less overwhelming, because I'm gonna do some things to make this lot smaller, even though it's a 64 by 64 lot. Look, I don't want to do it on a 64 by 64 lot, but I don't know where else to do it, so I'll figure it out, don't you worry. But yeah, anyway, long story short, I'm very keen for this challenge to be over, but I also love the fact that this challenge exists, so, you know, we're having a good old time with it. It's one of those challenges where you're kind of a little bit overwhelmed, but also, like, once you get into it and you started and you're working your way through it, you kind of forget that there's so much to do, and then you're like, wow, I'm basically at the end, this is insane. Like, I'm at R. R is close to the end of the alphabet. I'm pretty sure O is the middle. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like O is the middle, so, you know, we're definitely over halfway. And yeah, it just feels exciting to be getting closer to the end of this challenge. Again, every year I start this challenge and I get so excited, and I'm like, I can't wait to like get in and get this done. I'm gonna be so sad when it's over. And then I get about halfway through and I'm like, I cannot wait for this to be finished. Like, I love this challenge, do not get me wrong. I'm gonna do it every year, but I cannot wait to be finished. Like, I don't like I like starting things, I like organizing things, I like finishing things. I don't like the middle bit, which is mostly the doing bit, and yeah, I'm currently at the doing bit stage, so I just want to get to the point where it's done and I can look back at all the builds and be excited and happy, and then turn around and plan, next month and whatnot. I mean, to be honest with you guys, my calendar has been planned for the entire year. So, like, I'm pretty prepared, I'm pretty on top of that. And even, like, all the builds that I'm doing, the inspiration and whatnot. So, outside of this challenge, as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing something called the Pokemon Build series, which is where each Pokemon gets its own build. And yes, it is a lot. It is a lot. But the builds are a lot smaller than what I'm doing here. A lot smaller. And some of them are pack restricted, there's no CC being used, so, it's a lot easier. I find CC to be a little overwhelming because there's so much to pick from. Like, for example, look at all these tables. I know we have probably maybe slightly less amount, but, still have quite a lot of tables within the game, but the thing is, I know all the tables. I know what they look like, I know what they're called, I know what packs they're from. Maybe not every single one of them, but I know them well enough that I can go in and comfortably pick these things. Like, I would say 50% of what's in the game, like, I feel confident in being able to find and know what it's called or what pack it comes from, or things like that. I know these things, and if I don't know which specific thing it is, I know who to go to ask to find these items. So, I find making decisions a lot easier when it's no CC because I know the stuff a bit better. But I do think CC builds look way better. Just like 10,000 times better. Because CC is so pretty. But I know a lot of people can't use CC, so that's why the Pokemon Build series is no CC, and that's why this challenge does have CC. Because this is really the only time I get to use it, and I love it, and I miss it, and I want to play with it more. But I know when I initially go back to building, I'm going to be a little bit like, oh, what am I doing? This is a bit overwhelming. But I also feel like I'm going to get more stuff done because I'm not as overwhelmed by all the choices I have. I get decision fatigue a lot. Like, that is quite easily something that I struggle with on a very regular basis. You could probably tell through my builds that I regularly struggle with decision fatigue. It's you'll see me like scrolling and maybe changing between these things and these swatches and whatnot. I try not to do it as much anymore because I know it's not fun to sit there and watch people scroll, but yeah, as someone who does definitely struggle with decisions and making them, it can be tough sometimes. That's why sometimes you might see in the builds that I do, I'll lay out several items. If you look at the nightclub build, I think that's got the most obvious example. I put down all of the round tables. I have every single round table. They're all different styles. I could have easily just gone, nope, that's the wrong style, and gotten rid of a bunch of them. But I didn't, and I just looked at them all and ended up picking, I'm pretty sure it was the first one. The very first table that I pulled out. And yeah, it's kind of not great to have decision fatigue, but it also means in certain other circumstances, for example, cluttering. I do like to clutter. I do like to make a place look lived in or used or like not brand spanking new, but the issue is that requires a lot of clutter, and to clutter a lot means that it kind of interferes with playability. So the decision fatigue with that kind of helps because, if you see the rest of this build, you'll see that I do clutter it a little bit, but it's still a very usable build. I don't even put soap in the bathroom. I just realized I don't even do that, but I do put toilet paper. But the toilet paper doesn't interfere with you being able to use the toilet. At least I don't think it does. But yeah, there's like a bar shelf that I clutter with bar items, but I don't clutter the bar all that much. I do put a few items here or there, but I still think the bar is usable. And I'm pretty sure that if you were to play in game, that those items would disappear because they're just drink items. So at the end of the day, I'm not too worried about the clutter I've got going on, and I'm kind of using the decision fatigue to my advantage, because I could just feel overwhelmed and give into it, but what I'm doing is taking moments where I know I can pick things and just committing to that. Okay, cool, I could pick I could figure out how to make this bathroom, and then I barely clutter it. I think in this little walkway, I put a mirror and a plant, and that's it. There's no other, I changed the wallpaper, but I don't know if you count that as cluttering. I personally don't count it as cluttering, but it also does change the look of the build, so maybe. Also, you might have seen I put a plant down, and I'll sometimes do that. I'll go put items out in the open where I can see it, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to use this later. This is pretty, this is nice. But that plant I totally did not see until it was too late, and I'd already finished the build, and I was like, nah, I'm done. And so I ended up deleting it, just because it was just sitting in the middle of the floor anyway. But yeah, I don't know, it was yeah, I've totally lost my ability to think and speak at the moment. I apologize, guys. I ended up staying up really late last night reading. I say late. 1 a.m. might not be late for some people, but for me, 11 p.m. is late. If I'm not in bed by 11 p.m., something's wrong. That is my normal bedtime. I'm normally in bed by 11 and sleeping. It's kind of 50-50 whether or not I'm in bed or asleep by 11. It's normally, okay, with this challenge, I've been going to get into bed at 11, but before this challenge, I was getting into bed at 10 and going to sleep at 11. I'll stay up and do some reading or some puzzles or anything like that, crosswords or whatever. And you know what? I don't care if that makes me a nana. I don't care if that makes me old. I don't care if people think I am secretly 687. I love that stuff. It makes me happy. And yeah, I'm gonna do my puzzles, and I don't care. I don't know, some people get weird when I'm like, yeah, I do crosswords, and I do Sudoku, and things like that, and they're like, really? That's so lame. And I'm like, oh, cool, I don't care. I'm happy. I'm gonna do what makes me happy. I don't really care. So, yeah, no, if there's something out there that you like doing that people judge you for, ignore them. I don't know why people get in the way of other people's happiness. It's kind of silly. If there's something you enjoy doing, do it. There are people out there who say Sims players aren't real gamers, and it's like, okay, cool, whatever. If that's what you think. Sure. Also, another thing I've noticed is, this one's kind of funny, I guess. To me, it's curious. I've seen videos floating around of, if you play this game, this is what it says about you, and it's basically like, oh, if you play, Minecraft, you're, like, really creative, or if you play Stardew, you're this, or if you play, I can't even think of any other game, but if you play this game, you've got this type of style, and, like, I've seen ones that if your partner plays this game, that's what it says about your partner. And every time The Sims shows up, it's like, God knows what you did. Like, you are a danger to society, and you're a menace, and the only way we keep society safe is because you play The Sims, and it's like, how am I a menace because I'm a builder? I think a lot of people forget that there are other aspects to the game other than just playing it. I'm the opposite. I forget that is an aspect of the game. But I kind of find it humorous that people are like, oh, you play Sims, well, you just like controlling people, and I'm like, no, I like building. I don't like controlling people. I don't like being near people. People can go away. Like, I don't care what people do. People can do whatever they want as long as it's not near me, okay? I don't want to be dealing with stupid, silly people. I just want to build. And I don't know, I find that quite interesting. So I would love to know if you are somebody who's made videos like that, or if you've seen videos like that. What do you think Sims builders versus Sims cast creators versus Sims legacy player, like all the different types of players, like what does that tell you? What does that tell you about me if I'm a builder? I'd love to know. Let me know down below your thoughts. I feel like cast creators are, I don't know. everyone I know who is into CAS is very, bubbly is not the right word, but very like happy and cheery and laughing a lot and just, yeah, always in a good mood. I mean, that's not to say that these people don't have bad moods, but I've always seen them in good moods, and they're always just so sweet and loving people. So I feel like these are sorts of people where, like, if they were artists and you were like, I don't want you drawing a portrait of me because it'll just look bad, they'll draw a portrait of you and somehow make it look like the most amazing portrait you have ever seen of yourself, and you feel loved. And that's what I feel about CAS creators. They're just people who somehow make you feel good about yourself, despite the fact that, like, they do, how did you do that? You know, I've seen CAS creators create other people in CAS based on photos, and they always look amazing. They always look phenomenal. And yeah, I don't know, that's what I feel about CAS creators. Now, people who play The Sims, depending on what playstyle you have, there are different vibes. But I feel like it's mostly two camps. Either the most chaotic gremlins you'll ever meet in your entire life, who just cause the absolute most chaos in the entire world, or people who have these nice little families who run these nice little spaces and areas, you know, just very calm, relaxed, organized, happy people. I feel like that is the two camps that we have going on here. I could be absolutely wrong. I'll be real with you. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like most builders I know, though, are, again, it really depends on what kind of building they do. If they do very, I don't want to say traditional building, but if they do things that are, I guess, traditional, but they do it really, really, really well, then they tend to be very calm people, I feel. Whereas people who do really out there and strange and different builds tend to be a bit out there. Again, I could be wrong. They could be the quiet people who do the really crazy big builds. I mean, I do know builders who are a bit more, I don't want to say quiet, but like, there's some builders I know who are on the quieter side, who do these really big, crazy, beautiful builds that are just so weird and wacky and out there. But I also know people who are really, really out there and extroverted and I almost want to say loud, and they do these very beautiful, classic, traditional type builds. So, you know, I could be wrong. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm wrong in everything. But that's fine. I'm totally guessing here. I don't necessarily see myself as chaotic. I know I'm definitely an introvert. I lose batteries when interacting with people. That's what an introvert is. You lose energy. But I love it. I love chatting with people. I love hanging out with people. I obviously need that time to recharge my batteries afterwards. So there's two camps of extroverts and introverts. There are again, the difference between an extrovert and introvert is does your social battery recharge when you talk to people, or does it deplete? If it depletes, you're an introvert. If it recharges, you're an extrovert. But you can have introverts who love socializing. It just means that they will have to go away more often to recharge their batteries more often, compared to the introverts who don't socialize as often because they spend more time recharging their batteries, so they aren't around as much. And I feel like it's the same the other way around. You can have quiet extroverts. You can have extroverts who do love that time to themselves and to, you know, spend time with just themselves, but then when they start to feel low, they need other people around. Like, that's totally fine and normal. But then obviously you've got the stereotype of the extrovert who always is around people and is always loud and hates being alone. You know, those four types of people do exist. I mean, I'm sure there are people somewhere in the middle with a bit of that and a bit of this, but long story short, I am someone who definitely does need a break after interacting with people. Not gonna lie. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I'm interacting with people and then I'm on my own, I just take a big, deep sigh of relief. Like, okay, I'm alone now. And that sigh recharges my battery by 50%. Like, just instantly recharges it halfway. And, you know, don't get me wrong, like, I absolutely love being with people, and I wouldn't change not being around people, like, sorry, I wouldn't stop hanging out with people. I'm going to continue hanging out and chatting with people. But yeah, as someone who doesn't really want to spend all day every day chatting and hanging out with people, I do appreciate a little bit of time to myself. Which is a bit difficult when you live with 7 other people. But at the same time, I say 7 other people, but it's such a busy household because people are constantly coming and going. I never know who's home and who's not. It's very touch and go with it. I don't know. I feel like once we get further into the year, it's going to get busier and there's going to be less people around, which is going to be great. But there's also going to be moments where there are more people around. Because at the moment it's kind of like there's always somebody floating around. There's always somebody just lurking in the shadows. So, you know, look, don't get me wrong, living with other people is great for a number of reasons. I don't have to cook every night. I don't have to clean every night. I only have to clean up after myself every day. But, you know, like, I don't have to vacuum the whole house. I don't have to, you know, I say vacuum the house like it's the only thing, but like I don't have to clean the kitchen every day. I cook twice a week, so everybody cooks once, but one of my roommates and I, Onion, we cook together because it's just easier for us. We find it easier. We get dinner out at a decent time, and it means we can do some more fun things with the cooking. If we want to cook something that's going to take a little bit longer, and there's 2 of us, it means we can divide and conquer the work and get something that should take a really, really long time to only take a mildly long time. So yeah, you know, like it's good to cook with someone and clean with someone, but yeah, I only have to do it twice a week. If I lived on my own, yeah, even if I moved out with just 1 or 2 roommates, I'd still have to do it a lot more frequently than I do now. And I would love my own personal space and be able to walk around my house or wherever I live without constantly bumping into people. Because sometimes I do like to be alone, but sometimes I don't like to be alone, and I know that living on my own, I would be alone all the time. So, yeah, there's pros and cons to living with people, there's pros and cons to living alone. And at the moment, the pros to living with people are outweighing the cons, but I know eventually the cons, well, not even the cons, it's just like, I don't want to live with people for the rest of my life. I don't want to have roommates for the rest of my life. You know, sometime I would like to kind of live with less people around. That would be definitely handy, definitely appreciated. But for now, you know, it is what it is, and it's working. So, you know, yeah, I don't really know what else to say on that topic. But anyway, we are up to the part where I was talking about the cluttering. You can see here, like, yes, all of these shelves and stuff are cluttered, and a lot of the bar sections are cluttered, but you're not really gonna, like, if you were to download this restaurant, that would mean I'd have to upload it, but that's not the point. The point is, if you were to download this restaurant, there's still so many places, like, the tables are all usable, the bars are all pretty usable, the kitchens should be usable. I've not playtested it. I don't playtest. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, if you know me, I do not playtest. I playtest builds where I'm in collabs and they specifically ask me to playtest, but beyond that I don't. So, yeah, it's a lot. I don't know how people build, edit, playtest, upload, all of this. I can barely do what I can do now. So, yeah. But this is, again, another reason why I try not to clutter too much. Because if I do, then I have to playtest, and I just don't want to do that, quite simply. So, yeah, at the end of the day, hopefully my builds are playable. But again, with CC, I'm not too worried about whether or not they're playable, because they've got CC, and I don't know how many people are actually going to be able to use them. So, yeah, I'm a little less worried about that. But in my Pokemon build series, I do try and be a bit more aware of that. So I realized I don't think I've actually spoken about what I don't know if I have or I haven't. I record a video every single day, and it's really hard to remember what I do and don't talk about. But basically, the Pokemon Build series is a series where I build a build based on that Pokemon, and it's very loosely inspired. So if there's like I can't even think, like okay, let's say Squirtle is one I've already done. I don't want to ruin the ones I've already done. I haven't done, but the ones I've already done, I don't care. So I've done Squirtle, and for that, I saw a very cutesy little animal, very water themed, and quite recently to when that was, I had walked past a learn to swim class, and I was like, that just, like, if these people had Pokemon, they would have a Squirtle. That's just what I thought of. So I ended up doing a learn to swim class type build. And, like, to me, that makes sense. And I feel like a lot of other people that would make sense. But there are other builds that I might do that people might look at and go, how did you get there? Like, how did you get that? And honestly, I'll explain it in the video. When, like, in whatever video it is, I will explain how I got to that point. So if you're ever wondering, like, if you're looking at a thumbnail and you're like, how, like, for Pikachu, how did you get that? Or for, like, Nidoran, how did you get that? Or whatever Pokemon it is you're looking at, how did you get to that point? I'll more than likely explain it in the video. But if you don't know Pokemon, I also do describe the Pokemon a little bit in the video so that you're not entirely lost as to what I'm doing. So yeah, but they're good videos because they're usually shorter builds, like smaller builds, which means shorter videos. And it means I'm not sitting here talking for 45 minutes every day and then trying to figure out what to talk about for the last half an hour of it, because I'm used to videos that are between 15 and 25 minutes long. See, a 35-minute long video isn't too bad. Like, I can handle that. That's pretty typical and normal. But there was a couple that were, like, over an hour long, and that's just a little insane to me. I don't really want to deal with that. So the long and the short of it is, I'm not gonna. I prefer the shorter videos. But if you guys do want to see some more long videos, definitely let me know down below and I will see what I can do about that. There are a few builds I know that will probably be a bit longer, a bit bigger, but yeah, most of them I feel are going to be a bit shorter. So yeah, if you do want to see longer videos, definitely let me know down below, because I will do some longer ones if you guys want that. I'll mix up with some long and some short and whatnot, but I definitely do find the shorter ones to be a lot easier, and I feel a lot better getting them done. I mean, I think there was even one that was like 8.5 minutes long. It was so quick. I blinked and the build was done. And that was the second build I'd done in that day. So, you know, it was a lot to have gotten done in a day, but also that's the great thing about doing smaller builds, is I could do 2 to 3 builds a day and be so far ahead and not even have to worry about it. And yeah, not have moments like this where I'm basically stress building. And I keep talking about how I'll get ahead and I'll do this and I'll do that, but things keep popping up to not hold me back, but like prevent me from getting ahead. But you know, we're gonna keep working every day until we get ahead, and that'll be fun and exciting. So yeah. But anyway, we are getting pretty close to the end of the video here. I do very minimal landscaping with this build. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I got a little overwhelmed with, like, what do I do with all this space? If I had a slightly smaller lot or my build slightly bigger, I feel like maybe the landscaping, the way I did it, would have worked a lot better, but I also could, okay, now I'm thinking about it, there's several different ways I could have done it that would have made it look a bit better, but I did not, so what you see is pretty much what you get with this. It was getting a little bit, not too late, but it was starting to get late for me. I think I try and finish the builds before dinner so that after dinner I can work on either the video or the next build. And yeah, it was starting to get towards dinner time, so I just wanted to kind of get in and get it done, and I ended up just building this random little wall and going from there. Yeah, anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this build, or in my ramblings, make sure to subscribe. Like I said earlier, I come out with a new video almost every single day except the last 2 days of February. I am taking those days off. I am having a break, resting and relaxing. I lie, I'm going to be building. I'm going to be building so much. But yeah, If you've enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, and let me know down below if you want to see longer videos or if you're happy with these shorter type ones. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.